Hey, what's going on, folks? Today is a nice breezy fall day. Temperatures in the 70s. It's going to cool down later on, so the temperature's a little cooler than it was yesterday. So today I'm going to wear something that's a little bit more substantial, because the last few colognes that I've reviewed were really light and really weak, and I was kind of going for something a little bit more substantial that I could really really smell, that kind of projects a little bit. The cologne that I'm going to be reviewing today is Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. This is a classic scent. Old school, yes. Relevant, we shall see. Whew. This is freaking beast mode, man. I could tell. As soon as you spray it, this shit is freaking beast mode, man. It's all over the place. It smells green. It smells green, it smells clean. It smells a little shaving creamy. I don't have to sniff my wrist. I just smell it right here. It's kind of like a shaving cream vibe and nice barbershop vibe. That's my initial impressions, and we're gonna see how it dries down, and I'm gonna shut off this camera and be back in about 8 or 10 hours, give you guys a full review on how it dries down and everything, give you guys the final verdict. Clean working man, good, honest, making an honest living, working, doing things, fixing things, building things. This gives you a nice, it's refreshing. It gives you like a little boost of ambition, a little kick in the ass, but in a good way. I don't find it to be cloying at all. I just sprayed it and it's just really clean, and I'm digging it so far. So let's see how it goes. My final thoughts on Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. This is an old fragrance from the 70s. It's just extremely clean, and it lasts very, very long. And the thing about it is it smells, it also has like a sweetness to it, and it lasts really long. So it's got the piney smell, and it's got the clean soapy smell, and it also has like a little sweetness to it that's pretty well blended. And it doesn't smell artificial or synthetic at all. It just smells very natural, and it's not very cloying, but it is very strong. I mean, this is an old 70s fragrance, and that belongs in the Fragrance Hall of Fame, if you ask me. It's just a soapy, green, clean barbershop feel. It's a lot more complex than something like a Cody Aspen, which is also a Fougere. I personally enjoy it very much. I mean, as far as a modern day, does it have any modern day relevance, I guess would be the question. I'm sure fragrance is just like fashion, is very cyclical. I mean, the industry goes through phrases where back in the 70s you had all the powerhouse Fougeres and really animalic, manly scents. And then when it got to the 80s, it started calming down a little bit, and it got a little spicier. And then after the 90s, the 90s were more aquatic. And now we're at a really, really sweet stage. Like all the colognes are really sweet, like diabetic piss sweet. And I think there's going to be a backlash towards these sweet colognes, and it's going to come back to circle. And I think Fougeres are going to be back in, and scents like Paco Rabanne Pour Homme are going to be back in. It's just a matter of time. It's inevitable. And my guess is that all these gourmands and the extremely sweet fragrances are going to start going out of style, because I think people are already starting to get sick of them. You could tell by all the reviews on like 1 million and all the all the sweet scents are getting some negative reviews as of late on like Fragrantica and stuff, and like the Dolce and Gabbana, the one and stuff. Everybody, that's kind of hot right now, but I see a little bit of a backlash towards it already, and I think people are going to start getting back to fougères and to more masculine scents. So is it relevant today? I wouldn't say it is. I personally love it, and I would definitely wear it. But I think in the future, it definitely might make a comeback. This style of scent would make a comeback. I mean, it smells really clean, fresh, soapy, green, like piney. And that's pretty much sums it up, man. I can't really say any much more than that. When it dries down, it remains fresh, but there is a little bit of I'm talking about like 4 or 5 hours into the dry down. It still stays fresh, but then you have like a little bit of a urinal cake smell kind of creeps up. But at that point, it's already like a really like a skin scent. So it's not really projecting that much, but like a urinal cake smell, like if you were to walk into like a public bathroom, which is also a kind of a fresh smell. And I don't know if the urinal cakes were designed after this fragrance, but there's some kind of a little bit of a similarity to that. And I don't know what note makes that happen as far as like the different notes that are in this, but it's kind of like a soapy urinal cake kind of smell. That's not entirely, it's not really that bad, but I kind of made that association. I don't think the average person would make an association like that, because you really have to kind of think about the fragrance to make that association. Otherwise, you'll probably just smell it and say, okay, that's fresh. You know, that's fresh and soapy. That's all I gotta say. That's my only gripe about this fragrance. Otherwise, it's an excellent fragrance. Very masculine, very blue-collar working man, something that like a cop would wear, or something that like, you know, your carpenter or something would wear after work or something, you know. So it's I'd say it leans a little bit more casual. I don't know, to my nose, because I wasn't really familiar with this scent, but as soon as I smelled it, it just smelled extremely familiar. So I have smelled this before many times. I just can't pinpoint exactly where I smelt it. It's one of those fragrances where you're not sure exactly where it came from. Where the familiarity is coming from. It's like pretty sure some point in my like childhood or something like that. I've definitely smelt this several times before. Many times before. Well, that's my take on Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I will smell you guys later.